Beautiful music, beautiful people, beautiful sanctuary. What more can you want? Okay. Is there anyone here from another Unity? Okay. Anybody here for the first time? Oh, if you're here for the first time, put your hand up high. We have a gift for you. And keep it up. My ushers will have to come down and give you that gift. It's over here. All right. In the process, while they're doing that, Syntysche just returned from Unity Village, where they had the annual conference, and she had a beautiful experience there. And she is going to share with you the love, the beauty, the insight that comes with being part of Unity. All right. Look forward to this talk.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Boulder. Everyone who's joining us here in-house and everyone who's joining us online. We love spending time with you each Sunday. As I'm sure Jack probably mentioned, Syntysche is speaking today. And there was some misinformation spread last week that she wasn't speaking today, which is highly embarrassing due to the fact that it was spread by me and I'm her husband. You would think I would know her schedule a little better than that, but sorry about that, but she is speaking today. We want to let everyone know that this Friday at 10 a.m. we're going to be having the celebration of life for our dearly missed pianist, who's obviously not here, Larry Morrison. Everyone is welcome to attend. It's at 10 a.m. If you knew him, if you sang with him in the choir, please come. We're gonna meet at 9 a.m. If you'd like to actually sing, we're gonna have a small choir sing a few songs for him. And if you've ever been in the choir and would like to join, just show up at 9. But even if you've ever only known him through just watching his enthusiasm for playing on our stage for 34 years, please come out, share a small story about him or something that made you smile about him. So, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity today. So we're just going to come into the presence of this room and leave the world outside these doors. This is the point in our service, which is a call to prayer. There are sheets of paper in front of you that you can write a name down if there's somebody in your life that's facing a challenge, or even if you're facing a challenge yourself, you can write your own name down. You don't have to say what the issue is. The universe already knows what is needed before we even ask. It's really just aligning with the power that we recognize that we are actually always whole and in balance, and it's aligning with that wholeness and seeing that for our friends and family members that are facing challenges, that we hold on to that wholeness and that light that moves in and through everything that they are. So you can write those names down, and Lisa, who is part of our prayer team, will walk down and collect those names. They'll go into our prayer box, and they'll be in our prayer box for 30 days and prayed over every week, and then they'll be sent to Silent Community, where they'll be prayed over for another 30 days. So we love to do this process, but we also like to sing, because they say to sing is to pray twice, so we invite you to sing with us.
You are the air I breathe. You are the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me, and I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful for you.
Now you know it, join us.
You are the air I breathe. You are the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me.
And so it is. I'm going to invite some friends up to sing with us here. This is our small entertainment club today. And we're going to sing along. So this is a sing along. So we're asking you to sing with us. Here we go.
Amazing things with the choices each day brings, and with every step you take, less the progress that you make. The reason you live is there in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. All the places you will go, and the people you will know. Don't worry when or where or how. You don't need to know that now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy what this day brings. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out to stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes circumstances come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes, take a breath, and smile. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Now we'll say I. Amazing, amazing. I will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. And do it we. Amazing, amazing. We will do amazing things.
Beautiful music.
And now I'd like to welcome to our stage today's musical guest, Susan Bockoff. You might recognize her from many, many choir and solo performances in our Christmas and Easter shows. So take it away, Susan.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows? What's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. Rainbows have nothing to hide. told and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that, someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? What do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell, we know that it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep? Have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet song that calls the young sailors? The voice may be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La-di-da-da-di-da-da, la-da-da-da-da-da-doo.
Thank you, Susan. It's a fun way to start. Going into the archives of music. I don't think there's anybody that doesn't know that number. So I just returned from Unity Village, hence the picture on the back wall. I had a week intensive in school, and it was a beautiful, amazing experience. And I'm going to bring some of that to you, but first I'm going to go into my talk title and where we're heading with this. This is a return of a talk. It's the second talk on the Gospel of Thomas. Today's talk title is You Don't Have to Pretend Anymore. It's a soulful talk on truth, presence, and spiritual clarity. But first, a little history of the Gospel of Thomas. We are told that these are teachings which were written down and saved for us to read. They're not church traditions or talks about Jesus, but direct sayings of Jesus as he lived. Perhaps there was a concern even during Jesus' life that the essential message would be forgotten and mere talk of personalities would become the central concern. And a bit more about background about the Gospel of Thomas. Before we dive into the teachings today, let's take a moment to understand where these words come from. The Gospel of Thomas is not like the four Gospels we find in the New Testament. It's not a story about Jesus' birth, miracles, death, or resurrection. Instead, it's a collection of 114 short sayings, wisdom teachings that Jesus is said to have spoken privately to his closest followers, most likely the disciples. We wonder, when was it written? Most scholars believe it was written somewhere between 60 and 140 AD. So that's within the first century or so after Jesus lived. Some even believe parts of it may have been written before some of the Gospels in the Bible. So it was found, all these teachings were found around 1945 in the Egyptian desert near a village called Nag Hammadi. A farmer digging for fertilizer discovered a sealed clay jar. Inside were 13 ancient books, written on parchment and bound in leather. Among the books, you can tell that it was a rewrite. So this was, found in 1945, but it was a copy they found, and it was made around the year 350 AD. But it's clear that it was a copy of a much older document originally written in Greek. These are not surface-level parables for the casual crowd. They are deep, mystical sayings offered to the earnest seeker, those willing to look beyond dogma and into the transformational mystery of the inner Christ. In this first insight, Jesus invites us to move beyond belief in living awareness, where death loses its sting and the soul awakens to its eternal nature. If you want to hear about that first one, you can go on to YouTube and type in Unity of Boulder, and the date that I did that was on June 12th. So you'll see the first two that I talked to, and today I will be covering the insight 3 and 6. I'm going through, because they kind of are the same somewhat, so I'm kind of grabbing the ones so we can go along. Obviously, this series could be a year long if I do all of them, but right now I'm just doing 2 today. So this is the insight we're covering, the first one. Jesus said, if those who lead you say to you, see, the kingdom is in the sky, then the birds of the sky will precede you. If they say to you, it is in the sea, then the fish will precede you. Rather, the kingdom is inside of you, and it is outside of you. When you come to know yourselves, then you'll become known. And you will realize that it is you who are the children of the living light. But if you will not know yourselves, you dwell in poverty, and it is you who are that poverty. So it bears the question of how often we search the skies for signs, combed the oceans of theology, or clung to outer rituals, waiting for God to arrive somewhere. Waiting for God to arrive somewhere, anywhere but here, right? If you see the kingdom in the sky, the birds will get there first. If you look at the sea, the fish will beat you to it. Jesus gently but firmly dismantles the lie that God is out there. Yet Christianity is constantly saying God is in the sky. And we're reaching for that direct connection to this God, this man in the sky. And Unity doesn't offer any wisdom around that idea, because we know that Jesus said God is within you. God is within us, right? So he's gently saying it's not out there. Instead, he points us inward and outward, but not beyond. And the question arises, where have you been taught to search for truth? Love or power? Has it been outside yourself, in titles, in buildings, in other people's approval? Charles Fillmore goes on to say this: the kingdom of God is a state of consciousness in which the soul and body are in harmony with divine. The kingdom of God is a state of consciousness in which the soul and body are in harmony with the divine, is what it's actually supposed to say. And Charles Fillmore is our co-founder of Unity. So he and his wife, Myrtle, are the founders of Unity. So the kingdom of God is a state of consciousness in which the soul and body are in harmony with divine mind. This is not a place. It's a presence, a quality of being. The kingdom is a frequency of awareness, not a future paradise or distant realm. Jesus is telling us, stop projecting divinity onto other dimensions. Stop waiting for heaven after death when it's waiting for birth within you here. The fish and birds live by instinct, but we are invited to awaken by consciousness. So it's a good time to check in on our consciousness right now. Have we been looking to things outside of ourselves to fulfill some sort of seeking or some sort of calling within? And we're grappling at things outside of us, thinking, if I could change this, then I'd be happy. And if I change this, I'll find peace. If I change, when it's a call inward to be with the feelings, to be with the fear, to be with the love, to be with all of the feelings that manifest out in our lives, because we attract what is actually happening within us. So if the kingdom of heaven can happen within us and we can dwell in this kind of peace and love, what do you think the mirror would be in your life? It would be beautiful, right? Yeah. We'd have the jobs that we really, really want. We'd have the partnership that we want to attract. We'd heal the relationships that we're already in, right? So stop projecting divinity onto other dimensions, right? So, mystic realization, you are the living light. The gospel continues to say this: When you come to know yourselves, then you will become known. To know yourself here is not intellectual, it's gnosis, deep spiritual recognition of your divine essence. And gnosis means awareness, right? So when we really take this into our hearts and recognize to know yourself here is not intellectual, it is spiritual. They say we are spiritual beings having a human experience. We originate in spirituality. We originate as a constant love energy that we were born in and as. But the human world, this world outside of us, talked us out of the divinity and the miracle maker that we are. So we believe in illness. We believe in discord. We believe in fear, and we believe things can hurt us. And then we actually attract all of the above. But in this moment, when we recognize that Jesus Christ, was an example of what we all are, divine, perfect children of God. And if we treat ourselves appropriately and stop being the badger and the inner critic that constantly is putting ourselves down and recognize the gorgeousness that God made us as to express, we in this moment can create a whole other outer experience, because he's saying it's within you and out, and we're going to go into that deeper, right? So we have to ask ourselves questions, but let's look at this real quick here. Marianne Williamson said, "We are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same." So you don't even realize that you're living incarnate of the Christ example when you are actually living within this light. You are actually inviting people into that light, and that's how that second coming of Christ happens, is being the Christ. Harnessing that kind of peace and that exuberance and that light and that joy and that happiness. You're inviting others into it, and then that has a ripple effect. And that is how peace is restored to this world, to this country. To be known is to be recognized by the universe as what you truly are, a child of the living light. So I ask you, what aspects of yourself are you still afraid to know? What deeper identity have you left unexplored because it might disrupt your current life script? Let me ask this one again. What deeper identity have you left unexplored because it might disrupt your current life script? That's a hard one right there, isn't it? Because we're in all sorts of commitments with jobs, with relationships with our children, with interactions with others, with siblings, with families, with parents. And there is a fixed script in a lot of them. And we probably have explored a lot of ways to try to transform or transmute it into a light space and have found yourself empty and not able to move the wall of personality. Because that's what it's saying earlier there. They were worried that Jesus' words would be changed from personality, and it did. Because if you're really looking at the Gnostic Gospels right here, it's saying that he's saying it's within you, but that's not what Christianity did with his words. It created hierarchy, and it created power and control. And it was based in fear so that you're afraid to do things well so that you get right with God, so we go to this separate heaven. And that's why so many people have left Christianity, because it started so many wars. It wasn't based that God is love in the expression as you. It's powerful, right? But these fixed things, so what deeper identity have you left unexplored because it might disrupt your current life script? In that current life script, let's look at the thing that is not serving your life anymore. Relationships that have become worn out, and you have gone into the Spirit, and you've gone in that spaciousness, into that peace, and you can't move another person. Sometimes we can't. And sometimes we have to release ourselves from that script to allow for the birth of this Christ potential within ourselves. And that's very hard, and I know, because I've had to make those decisions many times. But as we enlighten and as we awaken, we have to be honest with ourselves. Be truthful with ourselves and love ourselves enough to be willing to let go of things that no longer treat us well. No longer are giving back to us the way we are giving lovingly. Right? So we have to take to task what we're willing to accept in our lives. So this goes on, this statement, the poverty of the unawakened self. The final line pierces like a mirror. But if you will not know yourselves, you dwell in poverty, and it is you who are that poverty. What does that mean? This poverty isn't material. It's spiritual amnesia. It's the lack of awareness of who you really are. Eckhart Tolle goes on to say this: the most important thing to realize is that your inner purpose is to awaken. The most important thing to realize is that your inner purpose is to awaken. So all these common day seers that are here with us walking are saying the same thing as Jesus said over 2,000 years ago. Because Eckhart Tolle isn't different than you. And Jesus Christ isn't any different than you. The only thing that's different is that they're living the practice. They're the living spiritual life. They are living the spiritual curriculum. It's more important than food and water. And when you finally allow that to be the case, watch everything start to transform. When we avoid the journey inward, we become poor in soul, rich in worry, but bankrupt in peace. So I ask again, what within you resists stillness? What voice says you are not worthy of divine light? And will you challenge that voice today? Is somebody willing to challenge that voice today? Two people? Okay. Impressive. How about all of you, okay? Because we all have a challenging voice inside of our head that we can witness. And we can merely observe it, not judge it, and not even bring it further into the subconscious mind, but more importantly, observe it. That's the beginning of going inward, is to observe the language that keeps you from your divine unfoldment. And once we witness it, we can start to dissipate its power in our beings, right? So the unitive vision, inside and outside. Jesus doesn't just say the kingdom is within you. He also says it is outside, meaning this divine consciousness is not locked inside us like a secret vault. It is reflected in all of life. It's reflected in a tree, in a child, in a tear, in a stranger's smile, and in a moment of stillness. That's the great teacher, is the mirror. So when we look at our lives, and we look at it honestly and authentically through a purity, how is the mirror going for you? Are you feeling embraced and loved and seen? Or are you feeling like everything is out to get you? And you're a victim of a lot of discord, and somehow you believe this is just what life is. Who's looking through a lens that you're feeling loved and seen and whole? That's a good amount of hands. I like to see that. And who's feeling like you have nothing but discord and upset and challenges right now? And all of us are there, and we have different phases. So I'm going to say that I'm not exempt of those phases. Because those phases, when you're being faced and being pushed up by disagreements and upset and discord, are moments we're students again. We become students of the living Christ. And those challenges are there in perfect divine order to help us go within and then step up and overcome that challenge. And every time we overcome a challenge, through spirit, we grow, we stretch, we awaken, we become that perfect child of the light, right? So every one of you are perfect children of light right where you are right now. And be encouraged if things are difficult. Just go within and listen to what Christ said. So I just returned from Unity Village in Kansas City, Missouri. I was there to give a talk with my cohorts in school, as well as take classes all week. One morning, I was walking on the grounds around 6 a.m., and came across the old motel that my family used to stay in when I was a child during the same ministerial conference that I was visiting. Our family used to go there in the summers. And I was staying in a brand new hotel that they built there. It's probably like 10 years old, but the motel is there and it's empty and it's run down. And I'll give you the vibe of it. I took a picture of it when I was on my walk. And walking by it, it was like this flood of memories as being a kid. Like, you see how old the parking lot is. That's actually a little Myrtle, that little tower over there is a little Myrtle prayer place, which is super beautiful and super redone. It's like this one area hasn't been redone, and the place has been there over 100 years. And so looking at this and seeing this tired area, and I've been watching the fountains getting redone, and it's getting beautified all the way over, but we know that Unity has been in a crisis all around this country, even before COVID, but COVID really took a toll on the movement itself. And I was remembering how powerful it was to be a little kid in Unity. And being a student, just from the Sunday school, and learning the awareness of what unity is, and how strongly that foundation was such a good thing for my life. And I still remember being a little kid and the playfulness and the beauty. This park right here used to have an actual children's park outside of it that had swing sets and like the metal slides that burnt your legs, because Kansas City, Missouri is like 110 degrees right now during the day, and humid, like Florida humid. And there was one little bridge that was there when I was a little kid, and there was this little plastic monster underneath it, and we would love to run over it and play on it. And I'm just hearing the laughter and the memories of my brothers and I and all the children of the ministers running amok around this most beautiful property, and feeling a little, a sense of time and how fast life goes by, right? I was remembering my parents and thinking how young they must have been then. They're probably 20 years younger than me at this point, and them knowing how to take us on this ride of unity, and what a wonderful path it's been. So I went on from walking from that area to the golf course, which I didn't get a picture of because it was too dark. I did take pictures, but it was not great pictures. And walking by this golf course, and it was like 6 a.m., and there's deer everywhere, and baby deer everywhere, and rabbits, and raccoons at night. I mean, it's just, they're so loved, they don't feel threatened, they just walk up to you. It's just a love space. It's like it is an ashram, actually, it really is. And when I was walking by this golf course, I witnessed this father with his little 6-year-old daughter, probably, and she resembled so much my youngest daughter at 6. Just a little chunky thing, because this was my chunkiest little cute, just adorable, like a squeezable child. And I'm watching her just bouncing around, and she's not paying attention. He's really thinking he's going to get her to learn how to golf, which is like obviously not going to happen. But watching her just playing, and him holding both things and like thinking he's going to get focused, and I'm just loving to see this little spritefulness of this little being. And remembering my little daughter and thinking how quickly that's all gone by, just life. My whole life was playing out in my mind's eye, starting with these early, 6-year-old memories of myself on those grounds, and thinking of my little kids that now are 17 and 19 and 28 years old. As I was walking, I came across the tower in so many different ways, so many different images of that beautiful tower right here. All the trees, because we're in Colorado and we think it's the most beautiful place, but it's not that lush here like it is in Missouri. It's so green, it's so beautiful, it's got different birds and everything else. So I was there in Unity Village, going to school again. And this is the thing, this is what I'm facing right now. In 2017, I got licensed through Unity Worldwide Ministries, and Jack, my father, ordained me. But the board of directors of Unity Worldwide Ministries decided that there were more steps for all these licensed leaders to take to continue ministries in their congregations. After COVID, which has made the job quadruple what it takes to run these centers. It feels like we're ad agencies, just living TikToks and this and that, and writing copy, and being a minister and writing a sermon it's like the last thing we're doing. It's just to get people in here, because church became a non-important thing. Now you're going to take all these ministers that are holding this amount of responsibility and make them go back to school. I felt a little bit like a victim in it. I'll be dead honest. This happened 3 summers ago. So when I was first informed that this was the case to apply to school again, I was not happy. Since COVID, the responsibilities quadrupled. The time and the effort it takes now simply didn't show that I had the time to do this. So I went ahead and applied and did the whole thing, and my family and many of you were like, I can't believe they're doing this to you. You know, it was like I've had a lot of compassion from all of you that I had to now step back in and go to full-time school. I have teenage kids at home. I mean, it was like, okay, I'm being stretched. So we look at this topic that I'm talking about today, and it says we are not separate from God or one another. We are expressions of the same luminous source. It's also telling us the kingdom is inside of you, and it is outside of you, as within, so without. So I'm sharing a sermon with you about it not being about doctrine. It's a call to wakefulness. The birds and the fish are doing what they were created to do. The question is, are you doing what you should be doing? Right? And here I was feeling like a victim, but all that was transformed when I entered school and transmuted things that were not healed in my life. I see it as it was a divine intervention. One of the greatest adversaries that's ever happened in my life was being sent back to school. It has been the most powerful, beautiful, life-affirming, spiritual-affirming experience of my life. But if you saw how much I was kicking and screaming behind the scenes, like, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me, right? So if the kingdom is not a place to find, but a truth to realize, will you let go of the illusion that you are missing something? Will you know yourself not just as a body, but as a child of the living light? And will you live in a way that reflects that light back to a world that has forgotten its own radiance? Here's some good affirmations that go along with this part. And let's read them together. I am the light of the living God. The kingdom is not afar, it is my breath, my being. I release the poverty of unknowing. I am remembered by the light because I remember myself and I shine. So we're going to move on to the secret teachings, number 6. Do you want us to fast? So it says, his disciples questioned him and asked, do you want us to fast? How shall we give alms? What diet shall we observe? Jesus said, do not do what you hate, and don't lie to yourself, for all things are plain in the sight of your true being. Remember, nothing hidden will not become manifest, and nothing covered will remain without being uncovered. This statement right here, unbelievable. Let's do this. Remember, nothing hidden will not become manifest, and nothing covered will remain without being uncovered. Do you see what that's saying? As much as we can lie and trick and falsely do things to ourselves and others, it will come out. It will come out into the light. So why not address it within oneself before it comes out into the light and it looks like a disaster is going on because you're not addressing something that needs to be addressed? Who understands that? Who has something in you right now that needs to be addressed and you're avoiding it? So that's exciting in a way because there's opportunity. We can grow and we can do better and we can start addressing things and stop worrying how it's going to affect everybody else and start recognizing how it's affecting you. By not being the light, by placating into the human personalities of others that are not living in the light. Do you hear that? Because we do that because we just want conformity and we want peace. But what we're doing is we're living in inner turmoil because we're denying the very fact that we know what is needed and wanted and necessary in this moment. But we're like, oh, in 5 years when? I'll finally give my life to myself and give it to myself abundantly. And who's been saying that for 5 years, 5 years, 5 years? Yeah. So there's a divine opportunity right here. So let's be honest. How often do we ask religious questions to avoid deeper spiritual ones? Should I fast? What should I eat? How much should I give? The disciples are asking for rules. They want to know what to do. But Jesus doesn't give them a checklist. He gives them a mirror. He gives us a mirror. Oh my gosh, and this is what happened when I entered the ministerial program with 15 other powerful beings that also answered the call to ministry and also felt the frustration that I felt. So when we got to come together, it was hilarity and laughter and community, and oh my God, they understood what I was going through because they went through the exact same thing, and then here we were, a family that's been seeking each other out all of our lives. And we were brought home to each other because for once we got community. We weren't the leaders of a community. We found our community. The path of ministry can be isolating. My friends, my family, even your own children can't really understand this inner process between ourselves and the universe. It's a road that is quite consuming, and it is a living job or play. You don't have hours like other jobs. It's a 24-hour-a-day life. And so your families have to sacrifice a lot for you to be in a place to be able to serve everyone. As I was walking beyond the golf course after witnessing memories of my little daughter, where I experienced grief of time flying by, witnessing so many views of the Unity Tower, I wanted to show you a few of those. That was from that motel. This is where things start to improve. These are the fountains that just got fixed that cost millions of dollars, and they're all along the whole property. This, like from this end, it goes all the way down there. It's so unbelievable with all the beautiful foliage and flowers, and they're bringing these old buildings and bringing them back to new, and there was so much about the feeling I was feeling of the rejuvenation of being back in school. Because we are forever students. And sometimes we just think we got all of our degrees, and so we plateau. But we're wondering why we're not inspired anymore. Because we're not asking questions anymore. But this has brought out all my new questions, and an aliveness and a friendship and a beauty of a place that's held my family for 40 years. And it's held a lot of your families for so many years. And I get to be reinvigorated by the beautiful message of unity and how powerful it is that this beauty lives within us. For this incredible experience of this schooling with these masterpieces that are attending school with me, whom have all become like family members to me. It turns out it was a divine intervention for me to be learning and sharing this path with others who have been called and also had desire to meet community through all of it. I want to share a short talk that one of my cohorts gave as his talk at Unity Village. I hope you feel the same way as I did witnessing it live.
Oh, goodness sakes, that was beautiful. As we have come here together at this particular juncture of time and space, dreaming in this infinite now, let us take our next inhalation consciously. This breath, which is now passing from your lungs into your bloodstream, coursing through your veins, reaching your heart, and hello, and welcome to your life. You have just been jacked into the most amazing fantasy game ever imagined, and it's called actual reality. And with every beat of your heart and breath you take, you are a player in this game, a dancer on this stage, and this stage is everything you see and smell and taste and touch and feel and hear and think and where you go in your mind. And the real question is, what do you want out of this? If someone wishes to be miserable, life will provide no shortage of misery. Or if someone wishes to look out at their game, their dance, their stage as though it were a tasty treat extravaganza beckoning for you to peruse these delicacies, this life can also be. I have a few words for you along your way, my fellow travelers, and that is that love is bigger than religions. Truth is older than scriptures. Innocence is indestructible. Innocence is indestructible, like every wave crashing the shore, every newborn baby crying, every dandelion that grows up through the cracks in the sidewalk to reflect its own goldenness back onto the sun. True beauty is a feeling inside us that inspires us to sing, not how we sound when we sing. True beauty is a feeling inside of us that inspires us to dance, not how we look when we dance, and we are free to be beautiful right now. Just wake up, sweetheart, and remember who you are.
Yeah. His name is William Gregory, and he is one of the ministers of Unity Spiritual Center of Bend, Oregon. So a little history of William is that he had a near-death experience in his late 20s where he was shown that God or Spirit was simply the essence of love. He had been raised Jehovah's Witness all of his childhood and had left the church at the point of his accident. He found his own connection with Spirit, and soon after, these words, like he shared in this talk, they started channeling through him. He is a wordsmith. I've never witnessed a gift quite like it. And when he found Unity many years later, what he experienced in his near-death experience, Unity's spiritual path matched the message he was shown the closest, hence him going on to becoming a Unity minister. So all of a sudden, he can come up with these wisdoms, and he works them, and they're never written on paper. He just opens up to this greater awareness, this greater oneness. And it comes out of his mouth, and half the time it's the funniest stuff you've ever heard. I mean, he has our class rolling on the floor because his observation of the adversity of life, of the hardships of life, of the duality of it, he can make you laugh so hard about the reality of life. But when he tunes in and he wants to inspire somebody because he sees somebody in pain, to observe it is Christ-like. Just as we all are Christ-like, there is something special and wonderful within each and every one of us, every one of you. We are all seers to be shared. We all have gifts of spiritual that needs to be shared with one another, even if it's limited to our parenting, to our loving in a marriage, to our respect to our employees or to our bosses, as long as they're being nice to us, of course. So, the metaphysical key of the Gospel of Thomas's sixth insight is authenticity over appearance. Authenticity over appearance. Jesus replies with radical simplicity. He says, "Do not do what you hate. And don't lie to yourself." Why do we do so many things that we don't like to do? Is there a part of us that thinks we have to keep doing things that we don't like to do? We have to sacrifice parts of ourselves because other people say that we should so that they will be happy with you? Do we keep giving off parts of ourselves away because somebody says they don't like it? A lot of people do that. And if we are the embodied divine expression of the Christ potential, and we're sharing light and kindness, and people are still correcting you, you might want to look at that relationship. Charles Fillmore goes on to say this: to sin is to miss the mark. To fall short of divine perfection in thought, word, or deed, right action begins with right thought. So this is saying we have the power to change our thoughts. To sin is to miss the mark. In other words, God is not looking for performance. God is calling for authentic presence. There's nothing wrong with you. There never has been anything wrong with you. And if a teacher made you feel that way, or a partner made you feel that way, or someone above you made you feel that way, it's time to let go of that affirmation, because that affirmation is worn out. Right now, right here, You have the power to shift everything in your life to love and wholeness and balance and peace and joy. You have the power to do that, and nobody else has that power within you. So I want to take us into a short meditation to close this talk up. I have a lot more to give, and I will be here next week giving it. I'll finish up this particular insight. So let's just close our eyes and get into the presence of this room. It's always best to put your feet flat on the floor. We're connected to Mother Earth. And not to be leaning on the back of the seat, but actually sitting up on your sit bones and using the core to connect so that we really can let the chakras align and start to spin at the same speed throughout all of them to bring purification and healing to the body. This meditation is titled The Light Within You. So let's close our eyes and let your shoulders soften. Let your breath slow down. Inhale gently and exhale fully. Feel the ground beneath you. Feel the breath within you. And feel the light within you and around you. Jesus said, the kingdom is inside of you, and it is outside of you. So take a moment. Let go of the idea that God is far away. Feel the sacredness in your own breath, in your body, in your awareness. Say softly to yourself, the kingdom is here. The kingdom is me. Now breathe into this next truth. When you come to know yourselves, then you will become known, and you will realize that you are the children of the living light. Let that truth rise in you like sunlight through water. You are not broken. You are not missing. You are light, learning to remember itself. Feel your heart glow as you say quietly, I am a child of the living light. And now turn inward once more. Jesus also said, do not do what you hate, and do not lie to yourself, for all things are plain in the sight of your true being. There is nothing you need to hide. There is no mask required here. Your true being sees you and loves you. Now ask yourself gently, where have I not been honest with myself? And just listen. No judgment, only awareness. Breathe into the honesty. Let it clear the fog. You do not have to earn the light. You only have to stop hiding from it. And say softly, with kindness, I return to myself. What is hidden in me becomes light. And now slowly return, wiggle your fingers and toes. Take a deep breath in and out, and when you're ready, open your eyes. You are still in the kingdom because the kingdom is still in you. Thank you. We'll take an offering for Unity now.
Well, another beautiful, insightful talk that we have the opportunity to put into practice, which is the most important part. Putting it into practice, taking the task, these divine ideas, and putting them to practice as we live. And I'd like to speak to all of you that are watching this online on a screen somewhere, maybe on our website or Facebook. But if you're tuning in because you're seeking that more refined knowledge that allows us to transcend the limitations of the world. And if you're doing that, you should really do yourself a favor by financially supporting it. You know, we have a number of people that are recurring givers. They're recurring tithers. They give their credit card to us, and they're willing to have, $15, $20 taken out per month. And that helps us out a lot if people do that. Gives us an opportunity to understand how much we need to budget, what we can and cannot do financially. So I'm just suggesting to you, if you really want to do yourself a great service and you can really help Unity, think of a way of giving so that we can continue to share these truths that are life transforming. And everyone here can bring into their hands that gift they'd like to make to Unity today, and we can bless that gift with this offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is. Let it be. Okay. We have the opportunity to listen to this beautiful voice by Susan Baca.
Turn, and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to love, a time to heal. To everything turn, there is a season, turn, and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stone, a time to gather stones together. There is a season, turn, and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. Everything turn, there is a season, turn,
All right, so we have Larry Morrison's Celebration of Life service this Friday at 10 a.m. For those of you who came in late, we hope to see you all there. We want to celebrate the life of our incredible piano player for over 35 years.
Part of the entertainment group, they sang amazing today.
Yeah, so we're wondering, any entertainment group that wants to show up at 9 to learn amazing will be performing other songs too during his service. So you can show up at 9 a.m.
Now,
on
if you've
Friday
got
to
the
sing with us.
time on Friday, we want to honor this particular person that has given so much of himself over the years and years, to Unity. And at a time when our choirs were 30 and 40 people big, and he would spend time, we spent so much time working out the shows and the special services that we did. And he was such a dedicated person. He surely deserves to have the energy around him at his memorial service. 10 a.m. in the morning. If you want to sing with us,
Even if you can't sing, just to come, because
just
music
come
was his thing. That was the God
9
in him
o'clock
here.
on Friday, we will have you here.
One
We'll
thing
practice.
that's pretty amazing is that Larry looked exactly when he passed on like he did when he arrived at Unity. He never aged. You know, something happened in his body, but his countenance, he never aged. When he
always-
retired, I couldn't, why are you retiring? It was like, you can keep doing this for the rest of your life. It was like, and he had the greatest attitude on the planet. He just was right there with everything you were doing, with the most incredible personality. Sweet as all get out. So we honor a wonderful human being that God created and then took him to the other side, because he's still doing music. I know he is.
All right, let's all rise. We're just going to close with "Let There Be Peace on Earth." We believe that's a message we have to leave out into our...
Okay, but do we do prayer partners?
Oh, we have prayer partners available to you if you're facing a challenge. You can just stay seated after this song, and they will come and find you and take you down the meditation room and pray with you. I will have my discussion group in the back of the sanctuary back here if you want to come and sit and chat about the talk for about 20 minutes. We just talk about the talk or something that's on your heart. It's just a way to meet other people and have community and break this down even a little bit further. So let's all rise and let's just sing "Let There Be Peace on Earth."
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be with God as creator, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous smile. Today and live to peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
So it is. Have a beautiful week.